Normally, I would not be making this video because there's not a lot to talk about for Canopy Grove's Q2 of fiscal 2018 earnings, but I did promise a few people that I would make it, so here it is. Now, the stock didn't really move that much when the earnings got released because there was nothing new, nothing impressive, nothing unexpected about the earnings, but nonetheless, let's go over it. So, once again, by the way, for some reason they never release their earnings on their website. Whenever a lot of these companies release their earnings, they release their financials, they never put them on their website. For some reason, they just don't. They'll put them on their website like a month later, and I don't know why this happens, but yeah, they're not on their website once again. So anyways, looking at the earnings, the first thing that I wanted to take a look at, and I mentioned this a few days ago, but I wanted to compare I wanted to compare Canopy Grove to Aurora. So Canopy Grove has about $800 million in assets, and they're valued at $3.8 billion on the market, which gives them a ratio of 4.75 in terms of their market capitalization compared to their assets. Now, if we look at Aurora, their ratio is actually 7.38 because Aurora only has $347 million in assets. So Aurora is currently more expensive than Canopy Grove to buy in terms of just the amount of assets that they have when compared to their market capitalization. Now, of course, there's a lot more aspects to evaluating these companies, but comparing the assets gives you a very, very broad comparison, like very rough comparison in terms of these companies relative to each other. So it's pretty interesting that Aurora is more expensive. It used to be less expensive compared to Canopy Grove, but it's currently more expensive, which is quite interesting. But anyways, oh yeah, by the way, Aurora, they did just release a piece of news which I'll be covering in a little bit. I'll make another video about that in just a bit. But anyways, moving down Canopy Grove's financials, they had $17.5 million in revenue and a gross margin of $28 million. So once again, these unrealized gains on the fair value of biological assets, they do provide quite a bit of unrealized revenue. So once they get that going, once they actually sell everything, they should make a decent amount of money, but that's not happening quite yet. And they lost, what did they lose? Their net loss of income was $906,000. So it's not that much. That I mean, the amount of money that's flowing out of the company right now is quite a bit, but it's nothing impressive. This is expected. They're not supposed to be making money at this point, and nobody's really taking their financials too seriously because people want to know the financials after legalization takes place, not right now. Right now, it doesn't really matter. People do want to see some growth, but nobody's expecting them to be making profits at this point quite yet. But anyways, they are using quite a good amount of cash for their operations and investing activities, so a lot of money flowing out. They're probably going to be having a lot more dilutions in the future, but that's to be expected, and it's just something that is, so not much there. Now, if you're very interested in this company, you should probably take a look at this financial sheet, and over here you can take a look at all of their companies, all of their different subsidiaries that they're currently invested in. You have a stake in ownership, so you can take a look at all of these. You can search them up. You can see, you can get a little bit of a better understanding exactly what Canopy Growth is doing, which companies they're going after, what their plan is. But you can take a look at a lot of these smaller companies. The information about them might be limited, but you can definitely get an idea of what Canopy Growth is interested in. So a lot of different names under the Canopy Growth brand. So take a look at these if you're interested. A lot of different things happening. And more or less, that's really all that I've wanted to talk about. There's not really a lot of stuff that changed in the whole description and all of that stuff, not that I noticed anyways. More or less, everything is the same with this company. They're still expanding, they're still doing stuff, they're acquiring properties, they're developing their land and all of that stuff. And the financials right now, they're really not that interesting. They're going to be interesting after legalization takes place, when they actually start selling exponentially more product than they're currently doing right now. So that's what I'm interested for. And these financial sheets, for the most part, like I said, people don't really take them that seriously. People just want to see decent growth, and that's about it. People have a very low expectation in terms of what's going to be happening right now. And as I've mentioned several times before, and in this video even, people only care about the future evaluations, not really the current evaluations. What these companies are going to be making in the future, that is. But anyways, hopefully this helped. I'm going to be uploading a video about the news that just came out about Aurora in just a little bit. This is pretty cool news as well, and there's some insider information, it seems. But yeah, that's it.